reduces muscle tension around the eyes while increasing blood flow to the area. Perhaps most importantly, the sexually aroused woman looks at your mouth frequently during conversation. This mouth-gazing behavior indicates unconscious preoccupation with kissing and oral contact. When combined with other arousal indicators, frequent glances at your lips signal genuine sexual interest. The key distinction is that lustful eye contact feels charged with sexual tension. Unlike normal eye contact that facilitates communication, sexual eye contact creates palpable energy between you. The woman experiencing genuine attraction will hold your gaze in ways that feel intimate and provocative. Sexual attraction creates specific postural changes that orient a woman's body toward the object of her desire. These positioning patterns occur unconsciously as her body attempts to maximize proximity and create opportunities for physical contact. The most fundamental indicator is body orientation. The sexually interested woman positions her body to face you directly, even in group settings where this positioning seems unnecessary. Her torso, hips and feet point in your direction regardless of where others are positioned. Sexual arousal also affects her overall posture in predictable ways. The aroused woman straightens her spine, lifts her chest, and pulls her shoulders back to display her figure more prominently. This postural change occurs because sexual attraction triggers confidence and desire to appear physically attractive. The lustful woman also reduces the physical distance between you whenever possible. She moves closer during conversation, positions herself within your personal space, and creates reasons to be near you. This proximity-seeking behavior indicates her desire for physical contact and intimacy. Perhaps most revealing is how she positions herself relative to escape. Roots. The woman who's genuinely interested doesn't position herself near exits or create barriers between you. Instead, she positions herself in ways that facilitate closer contact and intimate conversation. These postural patterns are reliable because they occur below conscious awareness. The woman can control what she says, but cannot easily control her body's unconscious orientation towards someone she finds sexually attractive. Physical touch is the most definitive indicator of female sexual interest because it requires conscious decision combined with unconscious desire. Women who are merely being friendly rarely initiate physical contact, while women experiencing lust actively seek opportunities for touch. The progression typically begins with accidental contact that isn't actually accidental. She might brush against you while walking past, let her hand linger when passing objects, or create situations where physical contact becomes necessary. These touches are brief but frequent and always seem to have plausible explanations. As her comfort and arousal increase, the touching becomes more intentional and intimate. She might touch your arm while laughing, place a hand on your chest while talking, or make contact with areas that have no practical purpose for social interaction. These touches last longer and occur in more intimate zones. The sexually aroused woman also touches herself more frequently in your presence. She plays with her hair, touches her neck, caresses her arms, or runs her hands along her body. This self-touching behavior indicates heightened body awareness and unconscious desire to draw your attention to her physical form. Most importantly, she responds positively when you initiate touch. The woman who's genuinely attracted doesn't pull away from appropriate physical contact. Instead, she leans into your touch, maintains contact longer than necessary, and creates opportunities for you to touch her again. The key distinction is that lustful touching feels charged with sexual energy. Unlike social touching that serves practical purposes, sexual, women's bodies tell you everything you need to know about their sexual interest before they say a word. While men focus on what women say, successful men read what their bodies are actually communicating. Women can lie with their words, but their biology doesn't lie. Their subconscious sexual arousal leak through micro-expressions, postural changes, and involuntary physical responses that reveal their true level of desire. This isn't just about reading body language. It's about understanding the biological reality of female sexual attraction. When a woman experiences genuine lust, her autonomic nervous system creates predictable physiological responses that she cannot consciously control. These responses exist because throughout evolutionary history, women who could accurately signal sexual interest to high-value males were more likely to reproduce successfully. But here's what most men don't understand. Women's lustful body language is completely different from their social politeness signals. The woman who's being friendly, professional, or merely pleasant displays entirely different biological markers than the woman who's experiencing genuine sexual arousal. And this distinction could mean the difference between wasted time with women who see you as a friend and focused energy on women who actually want you sexually. To understand women's lustful body language, you must first understand the biological mechanisms that create it. Sexual arousal triggers specific changes in the autonomic nervous system that produce involuntary physical responses throughout her body. When a woman experiences genuine sexual attraction, her sympathetic nervous system activates, increasing heart rate, dilating pupils, and redirecting blood flow to erogenous zones. Her body releases hormones that heighten sensitivity and create the physical sensations of arousal. These changes happen automatically and cannot be consciously suppressed. The evolutionary purpose of these signals was to communicate sexual availability to desirable males while maintaining plausible deniability for social protection. Women who could signal interest without appearing overtly sexual were more likely to attract high-value partners while avoiding social consequences. This biological programming explains why women's lustful body language often appears subtle or accidental. Her body is designed to send sexual signals that can be interpreted as interest by aware men while being dismissed as normal behavior by unaware men. This allows her to test male sexual awareness while maintaining social safety. Understanding this biological foundation prevents you from missing genuine sexual interest while helping you avoid misinterpreting social politeness as romantic availability. The woman who's sexually interested displays specific physiological markers that cannot be faked or suppressed. Eyes reveal sexual interest more accurately than any other body language indicator because they're directly connected to the autonomic nervous system. When a woman experiences sexual arousal, specific changes occur in her eyes that she cannot consciously control. The most reliable indicator is pupil dilation. Sexual arousal triggers sympathetic nervous system activation that causes pupils to expand regardless of lighting conditions. The woman who's genuinely attracted to you will display noticeably larger pupils during conversation, even in well-lit environments. But pupil dilation must be combined with eye contact patterns to accurately indicate lust. The sexually interested woman creates extended eye contact that feels different from normal social interaction. Her gaze lingers longer than socially necessary and returns to your eyes repeatedly throughout conversation. The lustful woman also displays what researchers call bedroom eyes, a specific combination of slightly lowered eyelids, dilated pupils, and soft focus that creates an unmistakably sexual expression. This occurs because sexual arousal, touching, creates palpable tension and desire for more intimate contact. Sexual arousal creates specific changes in vocal patterns that women cannot consciously control. These vocal modifications occur because sexual excitement affects breathing, muscle, tension, and hormone levels that directly impact speech production. The most noticeable change is vocal pitch. Sexual arousal causes muscle relaxation that lowers vocal pitch, creating a huskier, more breathy quality in her voice. The woman who's genuinely attracted will speak in lower tones than her normal conversational voice. Arousal also affects speech pace and rhythm. The sexually interested woman speaks more slowly and deliberately, creating pauses that feel charged with sexual tension. Her speech patterns become more rhythmic and hypnotic as her breathing deepens and her body relaxes into arousal. The lustful woman also uses vocal volume to create intimacy. She speaks more quietly, forcing you to move closer to hear. This volume reduction creates a sense of private conversation even in public settings and increases physical proximity. Perhaps most revealing are the unconscious vocal sounds she makes. The aroused woman sighs more frequently, makes soft murmur sounds during conversation, and produces breathy exhalations that indicate sexual excitement. These vocal behaviors occur because sexual arousal affects her breathing patterns and emotional state. The sexually interested woman also laughs differently. Her laughter becomes more genuine, longer-lasting, and more frequent. This occurs because sexual attraction creates elevated mood and increased responsiveness to humor and pleasure. Hair manipulation is one of the most reliable indicators of female sexual interest because it serves multiple biological functions related to attraction and arousal. When a woman experiences genuine lust, she unconsciously displays her hair and neck in ways designed to attract male attention. The most common behavior is hair touching and stroking. The sexually aroused woman runs her fingers through her hair, twirls strands around her fingers, or smooths her hair repeatedly. This behavior draws attention to her hair while releasing pheromones from the oils on her hands and scalp. Neck exposure is equally significant. The lustful woman tilts her head to expose her neck, pulls her hair to one side to reveal more skin, or touches her neck while talking. The neck contains major blood vessels and erogenous zones that become more sensitive during sexual arousal. Hair flipping and tossing behaviors indicate high levels of sexual confidence and desire to attract attention. The woman who's genuinely interested makes dramatic hair movements that draw your eyes to her face and create dynamic visual interest. The sexually aroused woman also uses her hair to create intimate moments. She might lean forward so her hair falls around both of you, creating a private space, or position herself so you can smell her hair's scent. These behaviors leverage hair's powerful sensory impact on male attraction. Most importantly, these hair and neck behaviors occur in clusters rather than isolation. The woman experiencing genuine lust doesn't just touch her hair once. She engages in repeated hair manipulation throughout your interaction. Sexual arousal creates specific changes in breathing patterns and pulse that women cannot consciously control. These physiological responses provide the most reliable indicators of genuine sexual interest because they are produced by autonomic nervous system activation. The most noticeable change is breathing depth and pace. Sexual arousal causes deeper, slower breathing as her body attempts to oxygenate tissues and manage increased heart rate. You can observe this through chest movement and the rhythm of her speech. Pulse rate changes are also detectable through visual observation. Sexual arousal increases heart rate, which becomes visible through pulse points in her neck, wrists, and temples. The sexually aroused woman displays a stronger, more rapid pulse that you can observe during close conversation. Arousal also affects her breathing patterns during speech. The lustful woman takes deeper breaths before speaking, sighs more frequently, and produces breathy vocal qualities. These changes occur because sexual excitement affects respiratory control and vocal cord tension. Flushing is another involuntary indicator of sexual arousal. Increased blood flow causes noticeable color changes in her face, neck, and chest area. The sexually interested woman develops a subtle glow or blush that's particularly visible in good lighting. These physiological indicators are most reliable when they occur together. The woman experiencing genuine sexual attraction will display multiple involuntary arousal signs simultaneously, creating a recognizable pattern of biological responses. Sexual attraction creates unconscious behavioral synchronization between partners as their nervous systems begin to coordinate. This mirroring behavior indicates genuine connection and mutual arousal that goes beyond simple social interaction. The sexually interested woman unconsciously mirrors your body, position, gesture patterns, and movement rhythms. She adopts similar postures, matches your energy levels, and coordinates her movements with yours. This synchronization occurs below conscious awareness, but creates noticeable behavioral harmony. Breathing synchronization is particularly significant. The woman experiencing genuine lust will unconsciously coordinate her breathing rhythm with yours during intimate conversation. This creates a sense of connection and intimacy that feels different from normal social interaction. Vocal mirroring also indicates sexual interest. The aroused woman adopts similar speech patterns, matches your vocal volume and pace, and unconsciously repeats your v-tet or bil expressions. This vocal coordination creates conversational flow that feels natural and engaging. Movement synchronization becomes apparent during walking or changing positions. The sexually interested woman matches your pace, coordinates her movements with yours, and creates physical harmony that facilitates continued interaction. These mirroring behaviors are reliable indicators because they occur unconsciously and require genuine attraction to manifest. The woman who's merely being polite doesn't display this level of behavioral coordination. But here's where it gets really dark. When a woman experiences genuine lust, she begins displaying territorial behaviors designed to mark you as her target and discourage other women from competing for your attention. These behaviors reveal the primitive biological drives underlying sexual attraction. The most obvious territorial display is positioning herself between you and other attractive women. She creates physical barriers that limit other women's access to you while maximizing her own proximity and contact opportunities. The sexually interested woman also engages in subtle competitive behaviors when other women are present. She increases her physical displays, becomes more touchy and affectionate, and escalates her sexual signaling to compete potential rivals. Jealousy displays provide definitive proof of sexual interest. The woman who experiences genuine lust will show visible discomfort when you interact with other attractive women. She might become quiet, withdrawn, or conversely more aggressive in her attention-seeking behaviors. The lustful woman also begins talking about future interactions and making plans that exclude other people. She suggests activities you can do together, talks about places she wants to go with you, and creates opportunities for private interaction. These territorial behaviors are significant because they require emotional investment that goes beyond casual social interaction. The woman who's merely being friendly doesn't feel the need to claim territory or compete for your exclusive attention. Sexual arousal motivates women to enhance their physical presentation in ways designed to increase sexual attractiveness. These modifications occur both consciously and unconsciously as her body prepares for potential sexual interaction. The most noticeable change is clothing adjustment. The sexually interested woman pulls down her shirt to reveal more cleavage, adjusts her skirt to show more leg, or removes layers to display more skin. These adjustments seem casual, but serve to increase her sexual appeal. Posture modifications also enhance sexual presentation. The aroused woman arches her back to emphasize her curves, tilts her hips forward to accentuate her figure, or positions herself to display her best physical features. These postural changes create more sexually appealing silhouettes. The lustful woman also increases her physical grooming behaviors. She applies lipstick more frequently, checks her appearance and mirrors, and makes adjustments to enhance her attractiveness. This grooming behavior indicates increased body awareness and desire to appear sexually appealing. Jewelry and accessory manipulation becomes more pronounced. She plays with necklaces to draw attention to her décolletage, removes and replaces earrings to highlight her neck, or adjust bracelets to emphasize her wrists and hands. These presentation modifications are reliable indicators because they require conscious effort directed towards sexual appeal. The woman who's not sexually interested doesn't invest energy in enhancing her attractiveness during interaction. If you're recognizing these patterns in your interactions with women, if this analysis is revealing signals you've been missing or misinterpreting, I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Your engagement helps ensure that these conversations continue, that men start understanding the biological realities of female sexual attraction. Sexual attraction motivates women to violate normal social space boundaries in their desire to create physical intimacy. These proximity behaviors indicate genuine sexual interest because they require overriding social conditioning about appropriate interpersonal distance. The most obvious indicator is consistent movement into your personal space. The sexually interested woman positions herself closer than social norms dictate even when adequate space is available. She creates reasons to be within intimate distance during conversation. The lustful woman also creates opportunities for shared space that feels private and exclusive. She suggests moving to quieter areas, positions herself in corners or loves where you're partially hidden from others, or creates intimate conversation bubbles in public settings. Sitting behaviors reveal sexual interest through proximity choices. The aroused woman sits closer than necessary, chooses seats that facilitate physical contact, and positions herself so your legs or arms can touch during conversation. The sexually interested woman also invades your space through object placement. She puts her purse, phone, or other personal items near you, creating territorial markers that establish her presence in your immediate environment. These proximity behaviors are significant because they require overriding social conditioning about appropriate interpersonal distance. Women are taught to maintain respectful space boundaries. so violations indicate genuine sexual motivation. Sexual arousal triggers specific oral behaviors that relate to feeding and nurturing instincts connected to reproductive biology. These behaviors provide reliable indicators of genuine sexual interest because they occur below conscious awareness. The most common behavior is increased attention to food and drink consumption. The sexually aroused woman becomes more sensual in her eating and drinking behaviors, making eye contact while consuming items and drawing attention to her mouth and lips. Lip behaviors become more pronounced during sexual arousal. The lustful woman licks her lips more frequently, bites her lower lip, or runs her tongue across her lips. These behaviors occur because sexual excitement increases blood flow to the lips and creates sensitivity. The sexually interested woman also engages in symbolic oral behaviors with objects. She might suck on straws in suggestive ways, lick spoons or fingers while eating, or consume foods in manners that draw attention to her oral capabilities. Drink sharing becomes more common when women experience sexual attraction. She offers tastes of her drinks, suggests sharing food items, or creates opportunities for indirect oral contact through shared consumption. These oral behaviors are reliable indicators because they connect to primitive biological programming related to feeding, nurturing, and sexual contact. The woman who's not sexually interested doesn't engage in these sensual consumption behaviors. Sexual attraction motivates women to display vulnerability and openness that indicates readiness for intimate interaction. These submission signals reveal her biological preparation for potential sexual engagement. The most significant indicator is neck exposure and head tilting. The sexually aroused woman tilts her head to expose her neck, leans back to display her throat, and positions herself in ways that demonstrate trust and vulnerability. Relaxed body posture indicates sexual openness. The lustful woman adopts loose, relaxed positioning that indicates comfort and willingness to be approached. Her muscle tension decreases and her overall demeanor becomes more receptive. The sexually interested woman also displays open hand positions and arm placement. She keeps her palms visible, avoids crossing her arms defensively, and uses hand gestures that invite approach rather than creating barriers. Verbal submission indicators accompany physical displays. The aroused woman asks for your opinions, seeks your guidance, and defers to your leadership in ways that indicate respect and attraction to masculine authority. These vulnerability displays are significant because they require overriding defensive instincts that protect women from potential harm. Displaying submission and openness indicates genuine trust and sexual interest. Understanding women's lustful body language requires recognizing patterns rather than isolated signals. Genuine sexual interest produces multiple simultaneous indicators that create recognizable arousal patterns. The sexually aroused woman displays eye contact indicators combined with postural positioning, touch escalation paired with vocal modifications, and proximity behaviors accompanied by presentation enhancements. These signals occur together rather than in isolation. Timing is also crucial for accurate interpretation. Lustful body language appears quickly after initial interaction and intensifies throughout continued engagement. The woman experiencing genuine attraction doesn't gradually develop these signals. They appear early and strengthen with continued contact. Context matters for distinguishing sexual interest from social politeness. Professional settings, family gatherings, and formal events may suppress sexual signaling, while social environments, parties, and recreational activities facilitate more obvious displays. The key is recognizing clusters of indicators that occur simultaneously and intensify over time. Single signals might be ambiguous, but multiple coordinated indicators provide definitive evidence of genuine sexual attraction. Most importantly, these signals require your own sexual confidence to interpret accurately. Women's lustful body language is often subtle and requires masculine awareness and experience to recognize and respond to appropriately. Understanding women's lustful body language provides strategic advantages that separate successful men from those who constantly miss sexual opportunities. This knowledge allows you to focus energy on women who are genuinely interested while avoiding wasted time on those who aren't. When you recognize genuine sexual interest, you can escalate interaction confidently rather than hesitating or overthinking her responses. The woman displaying multiple arousal indicators wants you to respond to her signals rather than ignoring them. This understanding also prevents you from pursuing women who are merely being socially polite. The woman who doesn't display sexual arousal indicators isn't sexually interested, regardless of how friendly or engaging she might be in conversation. Sexual intelligence allows you to calibrate your approach based on her arousal level. Subtle interest requires gentle escalation, while obvious arousal signals indicate readiness for more direct approach and faster physical progression. Most importantly, recognizing sexual interest builds your confidence and reduces approach anxiety. When you can accurately read female sexual signals, you know when you're wanted rather than guessing or hoping. The fundamental truth about women's lustful body language is that it reveals biological reality rather than social conditioning. When a woman experiences genuine sexual attraction, her body produces involuntary responses that cannot be faked or suppressed. This knowledge protects you from wasting time and energy on women who aren't genuinely interested, while helping you recognize and respond to those who are. Understanding female sexual biology gives you strategic advantages that most men never develop. The woman who displays multiple arousal indicators simultaneously is communicating sexual availability and desire for escalation. The woman who doesn't display these signals isn't sexually interested, regardless of what she might say or how she might behave socially. Learning to read these biological signals accurately separates you from men who constantly misinterpret female behavior and waste years pursuing women who are never sexually available. Sexual intelligence is the difference between success and frustration in romantic interactions. The choice is yours. Continue missing obvious sexual signals while pursuing women who aren't interested, or develop the awareness that allows you to recognize genuine sexual opportunity when it presents itself. Your romantic success depends on understanding the difference between social politeness and sexual attraction. Women's bodies will tell you everything you need to know if you're intelligent enough to read the signals.